Hello, how are you family? I'm Betty Lascano and today I bring you a tutorial on fantasy hair coloring in a neon shade. Stay tuned to this video to learn how to apply fantasy colors correctly because that will determine whether you achieve a flawless and beautiful coloration. Let me introduce you to Lupita. She is a collaborator of Betty Lascano. I love her because she is a girl who dares to try different shades of colors, and today will be no exception. I want you to see she has a gorgeous copper tone, which we are going to gently remove for the first step to apply this vibrant neon tone in fantasy. To start working on Lupita's hair, I am going to apply a little bit more of Yenvir's hydrating serum. This will allow me to effectively control the moisture during the bleaching process so the hair won't get dehydrated. Many of you ask Betty, how can I substitute it if I am in another country and Yenvir is not available? For these countries, they can substitute it with a suitable and effective hydrating serum that can be applied before any chemical procedure, such as a treatment, as there are products that cannot be applied before a chemical procedure, and this can cause a reaction either with the bleach or the dye. Is it really very important to ask, can I absolutely apply this hydrating serum before any coloring or bleaching? And this way you have an additional option. The formula I am going to use with Lupita for the color extraction will start with 3 caps of bleaching powder plus 20 volume oxidant. For each cap of coloring powder, you will carefully add 2 caps of the oxidant you have selected, ensuring the correct ratio. In this case, I am specifically going to add approximately 6 caps of 20 volume oxidant plus half an ampoule of intensive therapy for brittle hair. Remember that if you really want to achieve a thicker consistency, indeed add 5 caps. If you want a creamy and smooth consistency, add 6 caps. I am going to start with the color extraction process, and I will begin at the lower part of the nape, carefully applying the bleach only where the hair is thoroughly dyed. I am not going to move on to the roots just yet. Remember that the roots lighten very quickly. Copper tones are difficult to remove, but in Lupita's case, it is a light copper tone which is easier to manage. She has very resilient hair, which is why she can afford to change its color whenever she feels like it. Additionally, she takes incredibly good care of her hair. Remember that it is extremely important that when you are going to do a job, whether it is coloring or color extraction, the hair is in good condition to achieve magnificent results. If you do this type of work on very weak hair, it can break easily. That is why it is very important to protect your hair properly and work with healthy hair so as to achieve exactly the lightening effect you want. In Lupita's case, we are specifically going to aim for a beautiful and vibrant golden color because the tone we are going to apply requires a golden base. I know there are definitely many doubts about color extraction processes and bleaching procedures, that many people absolutely do it and don't get even tones. They end up with spots in their hair. This is also because they might not have applied enough product. On other occasions, when people apply dye in various ways and methods, whether they go to a salon or do it at home, they usually don't apply the dye evenly. And when it comes time to remove the color, the hair bleaches unevenly, which can vary depending on the technique used and the skill of the person applying the dye. This also happens when people have severely damaged hair that is very porous, and due to the fact that the porosity causes the ends to lighten faster, this condition can lead to the mid-lengths remaining darker and the roots becoming very blonde. When you experience that after a color extraction you are left with different shades, you should work on the darker parts first, respecting the lighter tones, once you have removed the bleach and obtained different shades, which helps to ensure the integrity of the lighter tones, preserving the overall aesthetic. Once they gradually lighten the dark areas, they wash and move on to the lighter tones, continuing this process until they achieve an even bleaching process. Once all the bleach has been completely and thoroughly applied, respecting the hair growth, we will let it sit for approximately 35 minutes in natural time without applying heat. After that time, I will completely remove the excess bleach in the way you are seeing. At that point, thoroughly. I am carefully removing the excess from the entire head to thoroughly take off the bleach and avoid washing the hair. Why am I doing this? Because Lupita's hair is very strong, it's very resilient. Look at the strand test, the hair doesn't break. So to avoid washing the hair, I am actually going to remove the excess bleach because this bleach has already spent its processing time. It is no longer really working indeed. I need to apply a new formula to reactivate it. I carefully and meticulously remove all the bleach and then thoroughly prepare a second formula. I prepare the second formula in the following detailed manner. 3 full caps of high quality bleaching powder plus 6 full caps of 10 volume cream oxidant solution and half an ampule of intensive therapy specifically designed for brittle and damaged hair. I am going to apply this formula to all the hair, still respecting the growth, to ensure every strand is covered thoroughly and achieve the best possible results, and leave it on for 20 minutes. After the processing time, which usually takes around 30 minutes, I prepare a new formula, and this time I will make it with 3 caps of bleaching powder plus 6 caps of 2000 cream oxidant of 20 volumes plus half of the intensive therapy ampule for brittle hair, which is known for its effectiveness and is highly recommended by professionals to ensure the best results. I am going to apply this formula to the roots. I am not using 10 volumes because I might get a slightly golden coppery discoloration and I want it to be well golden. That is why I am using 20 volumes on the roots and applied 10 volumes on the mid-lengths and ends because I already had lightening and did not want to damage the hair strand. So on the bleached hair, I applied the formula with 10 volumes. On the roots, I am applying the formula with 20 volumes in cream. I apply it all over the head and emulsify a bit from mid-lengths to ends because from mid-lengths to ends, Lupita has a slightly higher concentration of orange pigment. I move a little from mid-lengths to ends to achieve the lightening. The processing time we left for Lupita Global from roots to ends was 25 minutes. After that time, we take Lupita to the sink to carefully and thoroughly remove the bleach and then apply the deep cleaning bath by Yenvir to completely remove all the bleach residues. It is important to remove any remaining bleach residues thoroughly and effectively with a high quality deep cleaning shampoo. This is crucial because if there are any residues left in the hair when applying the new tone or color, the hair will not absorb the new color well due to the presence of bleach residues. This time, we are not going to apply a mask because I want Lupita's hair to absorb the fantasy tone and there should be nothing to prevent it. Do not apply them when you are definitely going to apply a tone or any fantasy color. Do that at the end. Would you like to learn how to cut hair, do makeup, color, and much more, such as advanced techniques? I want to tell you that I definitely created this channel with you in mind, for those who want to learn, so I invite you to please subscribe and hit the bell to activate notifications and be among the first to see the new videos. I want you to observe carefully the color that resulted from coloring Lupita's hair. I want you to see that from the mid-lengths to the ends, there is a slightly more golden reflection because it no longer has a coppery tone. And from the roots to approximately about 5 cm, it looks a much lighter golden. Since it is a neon Yusen shade, a neon yellow, indeed, there is absolutely no problem applying this tone because it will most certainly entirely and smoothly blend with the Fantasy shade. At this moment, it looks kind of orange, but it didn't stay that way. It turned more golden. And on top, we're going to apply a neon yellow Fantasy shade. I'm not going to mix this with Cream Developer. It is extremely important for you to know that there are numerous Fantasy shades which you can mix with Cream Developer, and there are different Fantasy shades that are applied directly. Some professionals or people who are used to applying Fantasy shades suddenly ask me, Betty, why didn't you use peroxide with that Fantasy shade? Or Betty, why are you using peroxide with that Fantasy shade? Depending on the brand, that's how the formula will be made. Remember that you have to be open to learning, and depending on the brand, that's how we will also follow the formula in general. In this case, we are going to apply the neon shade directly. It is important that the hair is almost completely dry to ensure greater durability. Afterwards, we spread it thoroughly throughout the hair, combing it perfectly well and evenly to ensure better penetration, ensuring that the color penetrates more and more deeply. I want you to see how I'm doing it right now at this very moment because I want the color to thoroughly soak into Lupita's hair, making sure it penetrates deeply. We are going to give a processing time of 35 minutes. Why so long? Because these are Fantasy shades, if we leave them on for a short time, they will quickly fade. So, we are going to leave them on for 35 minutes. After that time, we will carefully and thoroughly remove the excess Fantasy shade with a specially formulated shampoo that helps us to effectively set the color. In this case, we are indeed applying Yenvir's retention bath, which is very excellent for setting the color and making these shades last a bit longer. Remember that the lifespan of a Fantasy shade is a maximum of 20 to 25 days. And by 25 days, the color already looks very faded. It is most advisable to wash it as little as possible. I really want you to observe the strand test. Lupita's hair truly surprises me because we have done countless colorings on it, and it is very resilient. It's the kind of hair we all very much wish we had. To complete the process, we are going to carefully apply Yenvir's firm and effective color mask. This mask will close the cuticle and make the hair look much shinier and incredibly hydrated and very healthy. Remember, if you don't have the products or there's no way for Yenvir to reach your countries, you can, in any case, look for other brands that meet the requirements this line is making. The shine in Lupita's hair is already visible even as it's being rinsed, and the hair looks very shiny with the color very firm. Honestly, I love this coloring. Here you see Lupita with slightly shorter hair, which looks great. I also recorded the haircut, but you'll see that in another video soon. And I recorded the cut because this girl wanted a bit more modern and stylish look for this particular shade. It's not because her hair got damaged. It's not about wanting to hide mistakes. It's none of that because people quickly start jumping to conclusions. I did it because she actually asked for it, and I said, well, let's just record the cut and then I'll show you exactly how I did the cut. Let's move on to makeup and hairstyling. Steffi is going to take care of giving that makeup touch with these colorations. I absolutely recommend that you go for very soft makeup so that what stands out the most is your incredibly beautiful skin and the shine and color of your hair. Thank you, Steffi. This is the final result of this coloring. If you observe, it turned out to be a bright, pure yellow. To achieve these shades, it is important that you follow the specific and detailed procedure I explained earlier, step by step. Do not try to apply these shades on an orange base, a brown base, or a black base because you will never ever achieve the desired color. Definitely. Remember, if you want to achieve these shades, whether pastel or neon, you need to bleach your hair. And if you do it correctly, you will get a beautiful and healthy color. Thank you, dear family, for joining me in this video tutorial. I appreciate your support. Remember, the foundation of learning is practice, so I definitely encourage you to practice a lot. See you in the next video, indeed.